Hey everybody, I'm Greg.
And I'm Katie. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are going to count down our top 10 worker placement games. But before we get started, if you like this type of content, please help us out by liking the video, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit that bell icon if you want notification of future content.
Or you can follow the link below to all of our social media. So we got 120 games that we've played of worker placement.
At the time we did the list on Pub Meeple, we had 120 games that qualified in the worker placement genre.
That we had played. At least once.
Agreed. Yes. We have since acquired a few more that,
They didn't jump into my top 10 because I hadn't gotten many plays of it.
No, it's same with me.
But so this is our top 10, so maybe it's 20 different games, but I have a feeling there's going to be a few crossovers here.
I imagine there'll be at least a couple.
2, 3, maybe 4. I'll call it now. I'll say 4. You agree?
Yeah, I can see at least.
At least 4?
I can see those 4. Okay.
So, you want to go first?
I can go first.
Ladies
All right.
first.
My number 10 was a Kickstarter we did recently. Matter of fact, we're waiting for the expansion now. Upgrade. I'm not sure if the second. Anyway, regardless. My number 10 is Transmissions. I love the way Transmissions worker placement happens. It's all based on card play. Everybody operates the same 4 robots, and you have a board depicting all 4 robots, and they move differently based on what you have given them as far as special powers. So just because my yellow robot may move 3 spaces doesn't mean Greg's does.
Right.
But in order to even consider moving them, I have to have a card in my hand that lets me do it. And then I can move him to wherever I need him to go. He can go up to his total movement and then activate the space that I decide to land him on. It's more worker movement than worker placement, but it did fall into that genre and ended up at my number 10. But yeah, I just love how cute this game is.
Yeah, this was pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely different of how everybody has the same workers.
Yes.
Your worker just acts differently depending on how you programmed him.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Not my top 10, though.
I didn't think it would be. All right.
Okay, my number 10 is a game from 2020, and we actually have met the designer now. He actually taught us one of his games.
Oh, okay.
That would be Joe Hopkins.
I was going to say, it's the only person I can think of that would be.
This is Endangered. Okay. This is actually a dice worker placement because you are placing dice out to do actions, which is basically like a worker placement. So you're putting a dice out to do in a place to do it. But this is
actions, yeah.
It's really cool. Is like all these are endangered animals. Each expansion is different from the next one.
Yeah, they all have slightly different rule sets.
Yeah. So like the last one we played that Joe taught us was the Red Fox.
American Red Wolf.
American Red Wolf. Okay. And that you had to break down the walls or build up walls to get the wolves out away from captivity.
Right. Well, there was a safe zone that they could be in.
Predators and stuff couldn't get into.
Right, but it wasn't necessarily safe. There were still ways that they could get injured there. But the goal of that particular expansion,
they would not breed in there.
They wouldn't breed in there.
You had to get them out to breed.
Yes. So the goal was to get them across the farmland and to make the farmers friendly to them so the farmers wouldn't harm them. Yep. Was the main goal on that one.
But this one has a lot of expansions. We have almost all of them because we don't have the American Red Wolf. We had a chance to get it and buy it from Joe and him and autograph it though, but we didn't. But I think that's we got 1 or 2 missing, but we have them all. We haven't been able to play them yet though, but we've played about half of them I think now.
About that.
And each one, like I said, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's a lot of card play, and everybody has their own identity.
Yeah, because the board itself starts with some places to go, and then it has a couple cards to the side. Your cards are actually actions that you're going to play out. So you've got to go to an action with your dice to play a card out to put it out. Now it's an action for everybody.
Right.
But it depends on, so if I went to where I could play a card and I put a 4 down, now nobody else could go there unless they're playing a 5 or a 6.
Right, until you get another turn.
Yeah, until it's my turn, then I pull all mine back, and now that number might be lower, might not be lower. So it depends on what your dice is and how powerful that action is. I was like, man, if I play that 6 there, nobody's going to be able to go there. I'm going to lock that up. So let me play my 1 there so everybody can have a chance to go.
Right.
So it's really cool on how you're doing that because it's a co-op, but it's action. It's worker placement basically with your dice to be able to get the animal you're doing to breed, get them out there, get rid of all the destruction that's happening to them and why they're becoming endangered, and also get the government, work on getting the government to say, yes, we want to help you do this by a certain amount of rounds.
To get all the funding you needed,
So it's a lot of fun. So that's my number 10, Endangered.
All right. My number 9 is a game that has become our con game. You know immediately what this is. This is Chimera Station. With Chimera Station, everybody is playing, you've got little monsters. You've got a base and a head, and in between you're adding in different body pieces.
Yeah, I can't remember. It has a thing to
term.
Yeah.
But those pieces give you special abilities, whether it be that the green leafy pieces make it so that you don't have to, you use one less food for that worker. But you're adding in these 4 different body types, and you can only add in so many per alien. And the more you add of a specific type, the stronger that action gets when you use that person, you use that alien. But the basis is you are building out a space station, and you are going to different places either on your player board or on the main board or on the station itself to do the various actions that are out there, and the actions, strength of the actions are all depicted based on the parts of the body you've added to them. And why can't I think of what those are called now? I'll look it up and put it here.
There you go.
All right. But anyway, that is my number 9.
Cool. My number 9 is from 2017,
I didn't write the years down.
Published by Game Brewer and Tasty Minstrel.
You know I put all that information down below.
This is our con game. This is our first, and actually this is
a true crossover.
A true crossover because it's the exact same number. This is Chimera Station, but yeah, this is one that I'd always looked for. I always wanted to play, and then when we got to the retreat, the first year we went to the retreat, I found I was like, I have to play this game.
Yes.
And now it's just become, if we're at a con and we're in a game room and the game's there, we play it.
Yes.
Except for we did not play it last year at the retreat.
No, we didn't. We need to get played.
And it wasn't at Geek Way to the West, so. So we got to make up for that. So we got to play it like 2 or 3 times at the retreat this year.
Yep.
But yeah, this is a lot of fun. Unfortunately, Game Brewer and Tasty Minstrels is both gone now. So I'm hoping and praying that somebody picks it up so we can actually find it to buy it.
Or we can find a used copy somewhere, but I doubt that.
Or we just make it our con game. We don't need it. We just play it at the cons.
Yep. Every time we go to the retreat.
So my number 9 and your number 9.
Chimera Station.
Chimera Station.
All right.
Number 8.
My number 8 is a newer Kickstarter we just got in not too long ago. One that I was waiting for forever. This is Collab. Collab is a very big, I mean, it's got a pretty decent footprint by the time you finish building it. Everybody has their scientist figure, and then you have your 3 little minions. And you're at the start of every turn, you are either putting out a minion or you are taking off a minion. You always have to have 2 minions on the board. You only have 3. So, but they're rotating around. You're not always touching the same one. I guess you could if you really want to leave that minion on one spot. But typically you're pulling them off and putting them back on every turn and taking the actions of wherever you put them. Then you get to place your scientist figure into one of the labs that the minions are adjacent to. And your scientist does an action based on the strength, based on how many minions are surrounding that lab. So not only your minions, but other people's minions. So if there are 5 minions surrounding that lab, I get to do that action with a strength of 5. And I love how that works. Maybe I need to do this action over here, but it's only a 1, but I can do at least part of it over here at a 5. I'll save it and I'll move my minion over here next turn and go ahead and take care of this one now. And I love that number one, I love the variability of the board. The board changes every game. It's completely modular.
Yes.
Not only the spires, but all of the labs are separate. There are, oh my gosh, there's little attachments that go onto the top of each lab.
Oh, the upgrades.
Again, the upgrades, thank you. In 3 different levels, and again, all modular. You're putting them out at different spots every game.
Yeah, that is the one cool thing about that game, is that each area is going to change from game to game, because you never know what upgrade is going to be above that area. I mean, the lab itself is going to do the exact same thing every game, but it's the upgrades above it.
What make it.
The upgrades above it, and then what spire beside it is the power on that, as when you place or take away one of the minions is going to change. So there's so many.
At its
got a
heart,
lot of
this is a
playability.
tableau builder.
Yes.
But the worker placement is so important in how you build your tableau. It really is. So, yeah, that is my number 8, collab.
My number 8 is a game that there is a game called Quadropolis that is got this in it, the same type of drafting mechanism, but it isn't. I thought it was weird it was in a worker placement, but this isn't. This is Meadow.
I saw that in worker placement. This came in at number 14.
But the way they're explaining it is that your little pieces that you put out to draft with is your worker.
Oh, is the worker. Okay.
So you have like 5 different little boards, I guess, the little arrows, and you're going to put it out in an area on your board. And if it's like in Quadropolis, if it's a 3, you're going to take in that row the 3rd card in that row. And plus, it has the little campfire area where you're going to go. You can do different powers there and score more points. And now it has the stream.
Yes, it has
that adds a whole nother board now that you're going to deal with by going down the stream and different action areas.
That.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. I don't think we'd play it without it now.
No.
But yes, this is my number 8. It surprised me too, because this was not a game that I was looking forward to playing until we played it. And like, well,
this came in at number 14 for me, mostly because I couldn't figure out what it considered the worker placement to be. But now it makes sense that the action tokens are be your workers.
Okay. So this is number 8, Meadow.
All right. My number 7 is another one that is fairly new to us. We played it for the first time last year at the retreat. This is a cooperative game. This is one of those games that by the end of it, it's entirely possible you're going to be standing up cheering. But this is Atlantis Rising.
Yeah, okay.
This is one where you are placing out your workers into different areas of Atlantis to take the actions or to gather the resources. But you place your workers out prior to the bad stuff happening. And if the bad stuff that happens in the game, as in any cooperative game, causes that part of the island to sink, your workers come back to your board and you don't get to take their action this turn. The main goal on this one is to get off the island of Atlantis. There is no way to save it. Atlantis is going to sink. You just have to accept that fact and work toward getting off of the island. And that's why you're gathering the resources. That's why you're trying to get the artifact cards. That's why you're doing all of the different research pieces that you're doing in order to make the portal to get off the island. Everybody has one main Atlantean, and then you've got all your little workers. Each of the sections of the island have different strengths that they operate at. So the ones at the very tip, you maybe only have to roll a 2 to be successful and to get the item you want, to get that piece of gold that you need. Whereas you go up a couple, you're going to be safer from the floods, but now maybe you have to roll a 4. So it's a little more difficult the more inland you get. So you want to you want to take a risk and push your luck and go for that very one at the very end. But if it sinks, you don't get anything. So it's an interesting push your luck and hedge your bets type of game with your worker placement. I like this one.
Yep.
But that is Atlantis Rising.
My number 7. We're on 7, right? Yes, we're on 7. My number 7 is a game we just played on our 24-hour marathon for Extra Life.
Okay.
This is one I was not in, though. It was basically an all-girls game they played. This is Flamecraft.
This is not the one I expected you to say.
Why? This is one, Okay, when it came out on Kickstarter, we just like going, I don't really want to back this. It looks like a little kid's game. Don't want to back this. Why do we need to back this? And I think I talked you into not backing it.
Right.
And then we picked it up at the Dice Tower Retreat as one of the exchange gifts.
Yep.
And we played it and was
Yep.
like, there's actually a game here that's not really
Yeah.
a kid's game. The artwork just makes it look like a
The
little kid's game.
artwork makes it look very childlike, yes.
But it is
agreed.
cool. It is a very puzzly game as to where can I put my guy next to get the resources I need to what is that you do to the shops?
Activate the shops.
No, not activates the shop. To put another card underneath it because one of the
Oh,
end game scoring is when those all go away.
I just played this not even a month ago.
Yes, you did.
What
You
is
played it at the 24.
That was like a week and a half ago. 2 weeks
Anyway,
ago.
but yeah, it's really cool as to where, because you don't have to like, oh, I'm here, so I can only go down here. No, you can go anywhere you want on the
Yes.
board. Because
I
you
mean,
can
there's a
even go to
couple
the
small
place.
restrictions.
Yeah, you can even go pretty much where there's another dragon, but you got to
just gotta
pay that
pay 'em.
dragon resource
Yeah.
to go there. But it is really cool because it's a resource management game where you're trying to get cards for points at the end of the game. You're trying to get points through whatever that is that you do to the shops, the magical thing you do to the shops, which the word was completely I've forgotten.
Escaping me. Yeah, I can't remember what the word is.
But anyway, the people watching this that have played Flamecraft are probably screaming it right now.
I put it at the bottom of the board by now.
There you go, it's
on
right
the
there.
screen. Yeah.
Anyway, but yeah, I this was a surprise to me that I liked this one.
Yeah, I did not think you
Apparently
liked
it
this one.
surprised her too.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, that's number 7. That's Flamecraft.
All right, my number 6. My number 6 is, we've had for quite a while now. It just recently came out with a very large big box with all the expansions included. Little forest creatures, woodland creatures. This is Everdell.
Mm-hmm.
Everdell, and I like the base game. We've thrown some of the expansions in, and yes, it adds something, but this is not one of those games that I'm going to play every time with the expansions because it does lengthen the game, and I feel like it dilutes some of the options you have.
Yeah.
Anyway, regardless, I love the base game in that, number one, there are spots on the game that change every time. Mm-hmm. I like the fact that you start off the game with just a couple of workers, and it feels like that should not last very long. But by placing your worker, and that gives you stuff that you can use to do something else, and you can use it to get cards, and the actions snowball, and it actually takes a little while. What I really like about this game, what was really different, is that as you end your round, and you have to pull your workers back, and you move into the next season, just because I'm ready to move into the next season doesn't mean my opponent is. My opponent may still have 3 or 4 things they can do in the spring season, and they keep going. And then I go into the summer. I pull all my workers back. All those spaces I was just taking up are now available for other people to use. So now my opponent may take one of those, and then a couple rounds down, a couple turns down, he pulls back everything and moves into summer. And now that space is open again, that I can take it back. So there's a lot of give and take on the spaces that are available. Some of the spaces on the board change out based on cards. They rotate. There are special goals that can be done that give you extra points at the end of the game. But at its heart, this is again, another resource management tableau builder. You're building out your town of woodland creatures and all of their shops and curiosities, and trying to synergize so they all work together. So yeah, that is my number 6. Everdell.
My number 6 is a game that I sought out a lot. I found it at Gen Con, thought it was too much, talked to the designer. He goes, well, that's kind of up to them because he wasn't selling it, wasn't in the booth. But finally found it in Seattle, Washington. This is Liftoff, Get Me Off This Planet from Pencil First Games. This is an insane game.
Yes.
Because you have a bunch of little aliens in the middle of a planet, and the planet is about to blow up.
Yep.
And you're trying to get as many of your aliens off the planet as you can by, there's like a slingshot, there's a catapult, there's actually a rocket you can take, just many different ways that are going around the building, and those change out from game to game as well, because they could be anywhere. But you've got a certain amount of time to get up, to get there. Then you got to have a certain amount of cards to be able to use that action to get you off the planet. Some of them you have to have, like, there's got to be 6 other players there, or Meeples there, or aliens, I should say.
Aliens.
Other aliens there to be able to launch off, and everybody has to have this card to do this. And it's just a lot of fun. Every time we've played it, we've sat there and laughed our butts off because of just noticing that, because one of them you can get up there and you can knock them off the platform and take their spot.
Yep.
Being the slingshot and just watching it, and we do little sound effects as the kid the alien gets launched off with a slingshot off the planet. It's like, where you landed up, we don't know, but he wasn't on the planet when it blew up. And then there's a little evil guy that goes around and blocks the area.
The Gringor,
something like that. Grimgor or something like that. Anyway, though, but he can block platforms to get off, and there are cards that you can make it move around to where you want it to go.
A little bit of
block.
take that.
So yeah, but it's a lot of fun.
It is an interesting concept. Yeah.
This is the oldest game I've got on my list too. 2015.
Wow, it's been that long.
Yeah, this came out like right after we got into the hobby.
Yeah, we found it in 16. So yeah.
I found out about this because this guy was on one of the Google Plus board game groups that I was in, and he was showing us all the all of them as he worked on it, and then I was like, oh, I got to find this game as soon as it comes out.
Yeah.
So that's my number 6, Lift Off, Get Me Off This Planet.
Okay, good one. Okay, my number 5. My number 5 is probably the biggest on my list. Box-wise, play-wise,
Canizia.
lengthwise.
No, not Canizia, it's a Lacerda.
Yes. This is On Mars. I adore On Mars. And it's not even, the only worker in the game is literally your astronaut that's going from point A to point B. Back and forth.
Yes.
But where he is determines everything else in the game for you.
Yes.
So there is a shuttle that runs from Mars down to, or up to the space station. And at the space station, you can do research and you can get resources and all sorts of stuff. And then you have to go back down to the planet in order to actually do any of your actions. But if you run out of resources, guess what? You got to catch that shuttle back up again. The hard part of this one is timing that shuttle. Because as the game goes on, the shuttle flights become more and more spread out, less and less frequent. But yeah, it's been a while since we played it. It's actually on our list to play soon with playing through our collection videos. So I am really looking forward to it. We've already got a date scheduled with a friend to play this one in a couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to breaking it out again. But yeah, that is my number 5, On Mars.
My number 5 is also a Lacerda, but it's not on Mars. This is Kanban EV. This one's all about basically Detroit, if you want to say, about developing cars. You're going from designs, you're testing them, you're getting them put in production and getting them out onto the test track, and from there you can pick them up. But it's all about where you're placing your worker in the line as to what you get to do.
Which department are you going to be in today?
Are you going to take the action there, like I'm going to go down to the parts department, am I actually going to take the parts, or am I going to train?
Yes.
And then there's Susan, right? Is that her name? Sandra.
Sandra.
There's Sandra. I don't like Sandra. Nobody likes Sandra. Sandra comes and basically
she
reviews your work.
She's the manager, and she criticizes.
And it does bad things. That kind of hampers you on some of the things. If she come and you're there and you don't have enough training, well, actually, it takes the person who has the least amount of training.
If you are the person in the room with the least amount of training and you have not done so much stuff, depending on the department you're in, then you get penalized.
Right.
In some fashion.
So then you also have, when you get down to the end of the week, you got that weekly meeting where you're trying to get points. You've got a garage where you're taking your cars and put it in there and then trying to get upgrades for those cars to score more points. It's just one of those, it's like there's so much going on.
Everything but the kitchen sink.
Pulls it together, because you can't do one thing if you don't go to another area, and then you got to go to this area to be able to do this and do this. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. That is Kanban EV, my number 5.
That was my number 15. All right, my number 4 is the only Shem Phillips game on my list. This is one of the newer ones. This is Wayfarers of the South Tigris. Not the newest, one of the newer.
Yep.
This one it's got a touch of astronomy and exploration in it, and I think that's what I like about this one. It is a tableau builder. You are building out your tableau of cards, and those cards give you different things that you can do. You have shared workers that when you have them, they're yours. But as soon as you use them out on the board, now they're everybody's. And anybody can pick them up to use on their own at a different time. Just depends on the action that they do and where you placed them.
Yep.
You have your own dice, and your dice become workers that give you different actions based on the numbers that you roll. So there's a grid in the middle of your player board that throughout the game you are adding actions to it with little tiles that you're placing down on the grid. And then you're lining those tiles up in such a way that, one, you're getting the bonuses of whatever you've just covered up, but two, you're lining the actions up based on the number you roll. So under the 2 level, maybe I can do half a dozen different actions. Or I can use my 2 over here on this card to do a different action, or I can use it over here on this card to do a different action. So I can place my 2 in any number of places and be able to activate stuff. So anyway, I just love the way it all comes together. It's just one big puzzle, and I really like that. But anyway, that is Wayfarers of the South Tigris.
That was number 17.
That was close.
So my number 4 is crossover number 2.
Oh.
This is all about the little woodland creatures.
Really?
This is Everdell, and this is another one that kind of surprised me. Although we first seen this when it first came out at Gen Con. We tried to buy it, but it was already sold out.
Yep.
So when we finally found it, we was able to pick it up. And
we
did buy it.
We bought it.
We bought it that year. They
collector's
did.
edition.
Yeah, we bought the collector's edition, but it was supposed to come with the wooden tree, but they were sold out of the wooden trees.
Yes.
So we didn't get the wooden trees, which is
That's
not
okay.
a big deal.
Not a big
because
deal.
the other expansions, you take the tree out of the way anyway and put it on the stump.
Yep.
But yeah, this one's, like you said, this is a lot of fun. It's basically a tableau builder that you're trying to get the buildings out and it's like, do you put the building out so when that animal that you have in your hand or out in the thing that you can pick up automatically goes into your tableau. But yes, that is my number 4, Everdell, and the number 2 crossover of the 4 that I predicted.
Okay. All right, my number 3 is my favorite game. It's in my top 2. Now I don't remember if it came in 1 or 2.
But it's only number 3 on your worker placement,
It's number 3 in terms of worker placement.
But it's number 2 in your overall?
I think it's number 2 in my overall, because it's not the worker placement that I really love about this game. But this is Underwater Cities. The worker placement on this one is in the form of just some tiles. You have 3 workers per turn or per round, and you're placing them out into different spots around the board in order to do that action and potentially do a stronger action based on card play. What I love about this game is building out your board with all of the little discs that represent the plants, the salination plants in your farms and all that, and then the underwater tunnels and your city domes, and that's the part I really love about the game. The worker placement takes second fiddle to that, but the worker placement, I love some of the choices you have, and that's where it becomes really difficult, is I have this card that will give me a stronger action here, but man, I really need to do this action. So I'm going to give up this card and only take the part of the action I could potentially take. So I don't know. I love just the whole look of this game. I love the way it plays.
Yeah. This was 39 on my list.
Wow.
I think because I haven't really figured out how to get this thing going. Right? You've kind of like mastered this game. You beat me at this game almost every time. I don't know if I've won this game.
I'd have to look. I'm not
I'd
sure.
be curious. Maybe if I have, she'll put it down here. Who knows? I probably haven't.
I'll put it down
That's
here.
why it's 39.
Maybe.
So.
Okay. Well, anyway, that is my number 3.
My number 3 is the 3rd crossover. This is my second Lacerda on this list. This is on Mars. So everything she said is what is really cool about this game. I think it was one of the first. Well, no, I think Lisboa was the first one we played at his.
I know we got Lisboa and On Mars at the same time.
So I don't know which one we bought, but this one was one of our first jumps into Lacerda games that we'd never played before. And I'm a big Feld fan, so I always like that there's so many things to do to get points. And this one just kind of enhanced that, and it was brain burny about it too. And
I feel like Lacerda takes that point salad and it drives it home.
Just kind of scrambles it up and said, here you go, here's a game.
Yeah, it really just ties everything together.
But I think the coolest thing is, like you said, timing that shuttle, because it's like going, okay, I need to get up there and get some resources. Crap, it's going to be 2 more rounds before that shuttle takes off.
What can I do to kill time?
I'm going to sit here now. What is it I'm going to do here now? Nope, I can't do that. I can't do that. And then there's that other part of the whole board that has special scoring on it, where there's tracks that you're going up. It's just a really cool, and we do have the expansion for it. We have not played it, and
soon, 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks, we're going to play it with the expansion for the first time, so it might even go up even higher. Who knows?
Maybe.
So that's my number 3. The third crossover, the 4 that I predicted, that is On Mars.
Well, we got 2 more.
Yes, we do.
I know what both our number 1s are. We'll see. Anyway, my number 2. My number 2 is an exploration game that was okay. And then we got the latest expansion, and it made it a cooperative game, and just took it through the stratosphere for me. But this is Lost Ruins of Arnak. I've always liked the way that you only get 2 workers. Is it 2 or 3 workers? I think you only get 2 workers.
You get some workers.
Yeah, you don't get very many, but you're putting your workers out onto the board to do certain actions. But again, this is another one of those, like Everdell, where you're very limited on the number of actions you have, but you put them out, and then that may get you some money, and that money will let you buy cards next round, or that may get you another resource, and that resource will let you do something else. The primary goal of this is to hunt monsters. You're taking out various creatures and clearing out various areas so those areas become available for more resource gathering. Meanwhile, there is a science track, and it's not even a science track. It's a research track that goes up the side of the board that, yes, it's very important. I don't think it's the be-all, end-all of the game, but it is very important.
No, it is very important because there is a lot of points to be had on there.
There's a lot of points to be had on that board. But it just depends on where you want to focus. I think there was one game I didn't go up that, and I mean, yes, I didn't win, I don't think, but I didn't lose by much. So, but anyway, I love what the latest expansion did for it in making it cooperative. Yeah, but that is my number 2.
This is 23. Okay. I do like it. But I liked it better with the latest expansion, where it made it a cooperative game.
And I think that is what made it shoot up so high for me. Because
you always would shoot up that track, and I'd be left in the dust on this game. But I do like the game itself, but I like it more with the cooperative expansion.
Yes, absolutely.
So my number 2 is a game that Katy hates playing with me. And as a matter of fact, on the 24th, I was banned from the room for playing this game.
This is the last one you're talking about.
Because she wanted to win the game, and she lost it anyway. This is Apiary. Yeah. We have talked about this game a lot. I so love this game. It is basically an engine building game, but you are placing your bees out into different areas to be able to activate that area at a certain power, depending on what your bee is, and if there's an area where there's another bee there, so you're adding them up, and that's your power for that area. I love the puzzle of trying to say, okay, I really need to do this, but I need that. Yeah. Oh, she's there. She just put a 2. Oh, yeah, I'll put my 3 there. Now I can go all the way over and get the tile I need to put it in my hive. So, yeah, it's like that. And then, oh, I don't have enough to make the resources if I pull back. So maybe in my last bee, I need to go up here and go exploring around the planets and get a new planet. Or go to a planet that's already got resources that I need and get the resources so I have it for another action to be able to do other things. This is one that I heard of before you did. I introduced you.
I remember hearing about it. I mean, bees in space. But the way it was presented, it never really interested me until you brought it up. And you know.
And suck it out. Is that what you call it? You would say? To seek it out? Sought. I totally blew that one. Anyway, so I sought it out, found it, bought it, and played it, and I am 4-0. I
Something
totally,
like that. You've won every game we've played.
But like I said, it's all about that engine building, and I really like those engine building games.
Yeah.
So that is my number 2, Apiary, which I will say right now is her number 1.
Why would you
Just
say
putting
that?
it out there because
you
it's
say
not
that?
been on your list yet, and I know you love this game. So we're going to go to number 1. Katie's number 1 is Apiary.
And yes, my number 1. You spoiled my reveal.
Oh no! What is your number 1? I'll act surprised.
My number 1 is our 4th crossover.
Hey! Did I get it? Did I get it right? Yes, I called it from the beginning.
My number 1 is Apiary. I don't know why I like this game because I obviously cannot win it. I've played it one more time than he has, and I still have not won it. But I've come close. I have literally come within a point. Twice. I will get there. I love I love the way the bees were produced, that they look like little dice that you're supposed to roll. They're not. I love the way that they grow in strength through various actions. And then being able to pull those back. How you don't have to necessarily pull everybody back if you don't want to necessarily do the farm actions on your tiles. You can just, if you get kicked off of a space, you simply roll them up and put them right back out and keep going.
Yeah, well, you have your choice. Do you want to
Yes,
just
you have your choice.
let him land and that be it for that round with that guy?
Well, and
or-
the main
or
reason
send him
to
back
do
out?
that is if you want to activate your farms. If you don't have farms to activate, there is no point in doing that. Keep going. So yeah, I really love the way this one plays out. I just, someday I will win it. But that is my number 1, Apiary.
My number 1. Can you guess my number 1? After you look at my list.
I still can't. I can, like I said, I can see the lines. I cannot read it.
What?
I don't know. Because I would have thought Apiary would have been it.
My number 1 is the best dinosaur game out there.
Oh.
This is Dinogenics.
Duh. I should have known that.
Dinogenics is basically somewhat like Dinosaur World, but a whole lot better. I'm sorry. But that's my opinion.
It's not anything like Dinosaur World.
You're building dinosaurs.
That's Dinosaur Island.
Dinosaur Island. Okay. Same thing. Anyway, so you are
Not really.
building a dinosaur park, and you're getting dinosaurs in it, but you're not rolling dice to get the DNA you need. You got to have cards, and each
all
dinosaur
card play.
needs a certain amount of cards, and you got to go to certain areas to be able to pick up cards. Or you can go to an area where it's called the boneyard, where you can take a dead dinosaur and use its DNA or his bones or whatever you want to use from to make that dinosaur. Or there's areas where you can go and get little special action cards. I can't remember what the name of them are now, though, but that allow you to do other things around, like, oh, he just put up that dinosaur. I'd like to. I'm going to play this card now, and I'm going to steal all the DNA you used for that dinosaur, and now I'm going to put that dinosaur in my park. Or you can build wild dinosaurs, the rabid dinosaurs, or however you want to call them, to put them in your park.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to feed them goats if
Yeah.
you have the carnivorous dinosaurs in there, or they could rampage, or if they're...
Rampage is bad.
Yeah, and you roll a dice to see what happens. I mean,
Yeah.
it could take out some of your patrons and that.
Yeah.
Plus, it's also about getting all the more buildings to build, because the more hotels you build, the more people you can have come in, and the more points you're going to score. And you're going up this reputation track to go up the scoreboard. It's just really cool. And I think it's more thematic than the other ones are.
Yeah. It's number
And the
24.
artwork's a lot better, too. You don't have to worry about that, the 80s style artwork.
This was number 24 for me.
24?
Yes. Whatever.
Wow.
Whatever.
Your
Anyway,
number 1 game's a game you can't win. Okay.
I will win. At least I know you'll play it with me.
Yes, I will. And beat you some more.
Whatever. All right, so I did want to mention a couple games that we've just recently acquired that I think with more plays are going to climb into the top 10. And that was Sand which
Yes,
was a
sand is
really interesting one.
Well, is that really a worker placement? It's more like a movement, because you're never getting it back. You just move from one to the next. I don't know.
I don't know.
Sand is a really good game.
It's a good one, though. I've got it down as worker placement, but
Okay.
maybe, I don't know. We've only gotten to play it once.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to explore that one some more, though. Scholars of the South Tigris is another one.
That was my number 12.
Number 12? Okay. I think that one came in at like 18 for me, 19, something like that. But I think with more plays, we've only gotten to play it once. We haven't even played our copy. We played a copy at Geekway to the West. And absolutely loved it. It was a very long game, though, because of all the interruptions in the AP. But
yes, that one has a lot of AP in it.
I'm looking forward to getting our copy to the table. So, and then last one was Tidal Blades. We've played this one a couple times now, but there was a long period of time between the two plays, like 9 or 10 months. And I think with repeated plays, I can see where that one would
and I think this one plays a lot better at 3 or 4
I think
than
it plays
2.
better at more people, yes. Yes. I would
So
like
Tidal
to.
Blades was actually my number 11.
Oh, wow.
So
okay, it was right there.
my next 5 was Tidal Blades, then Scholars, and then My Father's Work, which is a game that you hated the first time you played it. You liked it a lot better the second time because you won it, didn't you? Didn't you win this the second time? I think she won it.
I don't.
And then we have Dwellings of Eldervale at number 14. We've only played it once, so I think if we played it more often, it'd probably go up a little bit more. It's a really cool game. And then The Colonist.
Yeah.
Is
Colonist,
number
I think, came in at 17 for me. I had my 11 through 15 was Pan Am, Space Station Phoenix, Caverna, Meadow, and Kanbani V. So a few crossovers there. Yeah. Anyway, that is it for this top 10. Tell us what you think.
And what are your top 10?
Yeah, what is your top 10 worker placement games? Are there any we're missing? Should we check them out?
Yep. And also, if you have any ideas on other top 10s you would love to see us do, let us know in the comments.
We're running out of ideas.
Not really, but
you know.
We want to do what you want to do.
There you go.
So, until then, we'll see you at the next one.